So everybody, welcome back to Miami Dolphins Syndicate. Jacob and Donovan here, and Miami Dolphins finally have a game that really means something again. We've had a 5-game winning streak that was really expected. We went into that run of games expecting to win all 5, and we did. But now the fun part starts. San Francisco in San Francisco. A lot of people are not going to be watching it, unfortunately, because the Chiefs-Bengals game is the priority game. However, we do have that Sunday night game next week, but start things off, San Francisco, the battle of the ideas, they're so similar. I'm so excited.
This is definitely the game of the week. I don't care about the Chiefs game. This is definitely the game of the week. This is really, everybody's saying it's like the first real test for the Dolphins. It's really not, but it is a good test, especially going into the hard part of our schedule. I mean, we have the 49ers, the Chargers, then we have the Bills. Oh, all of those are away. Then we come back home against the Packers, which they're kind of up and down. I mean, we expect to beat them, but
yeah, on Christmas, I don't really expect the Packers. It really is these next 3 games that's going to show us who we are.
But even then, like the Patriots, they obviously have a good defense, and then the Jets have a great defense. And, I mean, who knows what Mike White's going to do. So we have a really tough schedule ahead, but this is by far the best defense that we're going to face. Might be the most versatile offense that we're going to face. So, I mean, it's really going to be kind of interesting.
I'd argue that it's the best team in general that they're going to face from this point out. Like, the Bills are the best team in the AFC, and between them and the 49ers, you know, there's a lot of argument between who's better, but I think San Francisco is a much more put-together team. They have multiples at every single position, whereas Buffalo is still weak in the secondary. Buffalo can't run the ball. And the 49ers' run game is kind of hit or miss at the moment, especially with the injury to Christian McCaffrey. So, but even that being said, this team is deep. This team has a lot going on for them. And the first, well, wrong guy on the screen. The guy that's most important to their success recently has been Jimmy G, a guy who has been slandered so much. I have been reluctant to pick a side too much when it comes to Jimmy G. Jimmy G, I think, is a good quarterback. I mean, he's got to the Super Bowl. He's got into the NFC Championship game last year. And he runs the system that they want to run. And it's kind of similar to what the Dolphins have done. They're actually a lot more yak than we are. We came into just being a yak-based team. The 49ers are actually doing that with Debo, with George Kittle, who they haven't got involved in the offense as much as they'd like to recently. So it'll be interesting to see how the 49ers spread the ball around with Jimmy G.
Yeah, 100%. And even to put on top of that, the Dolphins, I mean, or the 49ers, I should say. The 49ers, Jimmy G fits that system so perfectly. We saw this kind of struggle with Trey Lance a little bit at the start of the season. Everybody kind of expected that because, you know, he's first year in the offense truly. But then Jimmy G came back in and it was just like riding a bike. And it just started rolling and rolling and rolling. And then their defense on top of that, it's the number 1 defense in the league, and they've been missing pieces. For example, Arik Armstead, who's actually coming back this week.
Yeah, couldn't he have just waited one more week?
No.
Come on, Arik, come on. You're hurt. What? I don't know. I don't remember what is he hurt. Come on. Just one more week. Come on.
No, because every single time that we've beat a good team, we've gotten the excuse, oh, we're super injured. Like, every team in the NFL doesn't have injury problems right now.
It is, and it sucks to use those excuses. However, when you're coming against one of the best teams in the league, and Buffalo, we're going back and forth with Buffalo. They win a game, they retake the division lead, and then we have to win the game. I would like to eventually get a 1-game lead over them, especially when we have that game against them coming up now. If they can lose a game and we win a game, and then we beat them, we're 2 games clear of them in the division. That's a little looking too far ahead at this point. The 49ers do pose a lot of threats, and it does start with the quarterback Jimmy G. But the next guy it's kind of questionable whether he's going to play at all, is Christian McCaffrey. He has that injury that he sustained last week. A lot of reports saying he was going to miss the game. Now he just came out himself and said he's going to play in the game.
I was just about to say that.
We saw last year the Dolphins actually did a really good job to stop him when he was with the Panthers. Only held him to, I believe, 30 or 40 yards in the first half when he was on the Panthers. Albeit that was a Panthers team that he was the focal point of that offense. So if you took him out, you take the Panthers out. Now he's a guy that's amongst many. And the Dolphins have struggled against versatile players. We struggle against versatile quarterbacks. I'm interested to see how they use him against our defense.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how he's used. I think it's going to be a lot more in the screen game because the Dolphins do have a really good pass rush and a really good pass rush win rate. So we all know that if you get to Jimmy G, he gets rattled, and that's how you win games. That's how we beat him the last couple times. And to go even further, CMC, he hasn't been able to run the ball that well up the middle of. I think they're struggling with their interior line,
and that's where we really we have a lot of success with.
We have a lot. I mean, we held.
Line.
We haven't allowed a single 100-yard running back this year. I mean, the only two rushers that have gone over 100 yards have been Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields.
Yeah, that we struggle with and we come against some good running backs too. Dalvin Cook outside that one touchdown to seal it, I think it was held to under 40 yards. Nick Chubb outside that long touchdown run was held to 30 yards. We've played some talented guys, but the interior of our defensive line, Wilkins, with Ogba going out for the rest of the season, but we still have Zeeler in there. Raekwon Davis has played huge this season, so love it. Bradley Chubb. I love that part of our defense. It does worry, but we still have a worry about the rest of the team. And Christian McCaffrey is somebody who can play all over the field. You saw him in his first game with the 49ers throw a touchdown, catch a touchdown, run a touchdown. And
literally that's everywhere, bro.
That's something that Kyle Shanahan loves to do. He loves versatile players. He loves plugging and pulling. We saw Deebo Samuel last year, how often he was in the backfield.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey, again, caught, rushed, and threw for a touchdown in his first time with the 49ers. So I'm interested to see how we respond on defense, because this is a struggling defense, especially in the secondary.
Especially on the road.
I'm really interested to see what we do against this versatile offense.
Yeah, it's and it's really going to be a test for this defense. They're getting healthier a little bit, but it's still just like it's like dumb plays. And like we know last week against Houston that they did well. They did great in the first half, and then the second half they played pretty much awful. But outside of the couple interceptions, but regardless of that fact, they were playing soft that entire time. And it just didn't work, obviously. We can't be doing that at any point versus the 49ers because they do have the ability and the offensive weaponry to come back.
If we see the defense of the first half last week, then I think we're really well off. But then last week when we got into the preventative point of the game
I hate that.
It was so agonizing to watch, and you guys didn't get to see our post-game comments because we recorded it on iPhone, and iPhone does not work with my editing software. Love that. But one thing we did talk about is just how excruciating it was to sit there. And you know the game's locked in a way. You don't expect the Texans to go down, put up 30 points to come back on us. However, there was some lacks with coaching that I had some issues with. How we were electing to pass the ball on first and second down as the clock's running out. And then playing zone defense, which is something we struggle with. Just watching Kyle Allen go out there and dice our defense apart. Their backup running back played very well even against us. So to see that was very frustrating. That's something you can't see against this 49ers team. And I doubt we'll see a lot of zone. I expect to see a lot more man-to-man.
Especially against, because Deebo might not even play.
Oh, actually, that's something I was going to talk about with Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk over the second half of the season has been on fire. Your guy who you've went to bat with often throughout the year.
I'm sorry, Ayuk, but this time you're getting locked up by X, and that's if you look at all the games that he's been struggling with. He went against Jalen Ramsey. He went against who was the other? It was just star corner after star corner. Trayvon Diggs was one of them. Like he was shadowed by the number one corner. People, and I made this argument. People call me stupid. It's like, as far as a pure receiver, he is the best pure receiver on that team. Deebo is the most versatile and the best player on that team, but he is not the best pure receiver, and that's why Deebo gets the second person. However, Kader Kohu is going to be that second person, and Kader's not the biggest guy. Deebo is very tall, very muscular. He can easily run through Kader. I love Kader, and he tackles really well, but when you have that size difference between corner and wide receiver, it's really tough to overcome. So hopefully they rest Deebo for a game, and it's just really X against Ayuk. Because if not, it's going to have to be X against Deebo just for the size matchup, and then Kader against Ayuk, which I like that a little bit more for Ayuk, especially how he's been playing lately.
I am scared of just you walk out onto the field. You have our defensive personnel. Like, okay, who has Deebo? X. I got Deebo. Okay, who has George Kittle? Eric Rowe. But unfortunately, that's probably what it's going to be. You're walking out there, and you're just. I doubt they're discussing. I'm sure they already talked about this during the week. But they're walking out there like, okay, I got him. Okay, who got him? I got him. Who got him? Oh, crap. Like, eventually you just run out of guys to guard all their guys. Meanwhile, on their defensive side of the ball, they have one of the best defenses in the league. They're two good offenses. I say our offense is better than theirs, but you look at the defenses. Their defense is certainly better than ours.
Yeah, 100%. Their defense is it's a lot healthier too, and it just got healthier. Like I said a little bit earlier, Arik Armstead is back for them. Fred Warner is a monster. Like who's gonna, and then they have that I can't pronounce his last name, but the Hawaiian, the safety that's
one of the best
pretty much
safeties in the league
Polamalu Jr. pretty much.
Yeah,
and he's playing lights out. It's really going to be tough. It's going to be interesting to see how they play our offense, because I think, especially with being down Austin Jackson, which maybe Brandon Shell's an upgrade, and we got good news that Teron Armstead did practice today in a limited fashion, so maybe he'll play on Sunday. He hasn't been ruled out. Austin Jackson was ruled out. So, but they have obviously Arik Armstead. They have Fred Warner. They have Nick Bosa. They have that other All-Pro on the other side of Nick Bosa. Like, it's going to be really hard to stop their pass rush, so it's going to be really what everybody expected coming into the season, which is going to be dink and dunk throws. That's my thought process on it. That's how, if you look, I went back and watched a couple games, even though Tua wasn't playing in them, where the Dolphins did not have Teron Armstead, and they played without him. They did a lot of quick passes, a lot of shorter routes, and they got more yards after catch plays than they do when Tua's playing. However, when Tua's been playing, he's had Teron Armstead, so it's going to be interesting to see how they do that.
See, I kind of think we're going to have more of the explosive plays. I think we're going to have more of the big plays because I think San Francisco is going to win the time of possession. They have the defense that can stick up with our offense, and they, again, have a great offense on their side of the ball. I think with that combination of both, I think you're most likely not going to win the time of possession when you come against San Francisco 49ers. So I think you're going to have to rely on those bigger plays. Now, they're going to be harder to come by because, like you said, you have. Well, I don't even think we've mentioned it yet. We think both tackles are going to be out. Still not sure about Teron Armstead. Wait, see, Austin Jackson all but confirmed that he's out.
No, he's confirmed though.
Is he? Okay. So you have Nick Bosa breathing down Tua's throat. You have, and in the secondary, a host of guys that can guard any of our receivers. Mike McDaniel, I think, is going to have to draw some plays up that it's those F-it plays because they're going to have the time possession like against the Ravens. Lamar Jackson be able to run the ball. They can just keep getting first down after first down. They can run the ball if Christian McCaffrey's healthy. Even if it's not a design run play, just those extensions of the run play, getting it out quickly to Debo, getting it out quickly to George Kittle. And again, the defense on the other side, we haven't had a lot of 3-and-outs this year, but this is a game where I can see us having an issue even just getting that first down. You have Tyreek Hill, you have Waddle. At times we've only seen them run. We've seen them run pretty similar routes all year long, where they're catching it in the middle of the field between 15 to 20 yards down the field. We're going to need to see some big plays down the sideline. A lot of the big plays we've gotten this year is because of the fear that they install in the defense that you're coming against. Knowing the fact that they can burn you over the top gives them that little bit of extra space. Eventually, you have to say, screw it, we're taking it. We know the guys we got. Yeah, they know this too. But we just have to go over the top. Yeah, Tua doesn't have the biggest arm in the world. We know. But you have to take those chances, especially against a team that can run the clock out and win the game kind of however they want. Tua is going to be, it's really going to be on Tua this game.
Yeah.
Is he going to be able to get the ball in the hands of Tyreek Hill with all that pressure coming on him? Obviously, we think so because what we've seen from him, Tyreek Hill, I think, is still the leading. Actually, maybe Stephon Diggs just passed him, but coming into the week, he led Justin Jefferson by like 1 yard.
I thought Justin Jefferson passed him.
He did, and then I think then Tyreek Hill passed him back by 1 yard.
That's crazy.
We're going to have to get some big plays with Tyreek Hill. This is what we paid Tyreek Hill $30 million for. This is what we gave up all these picks for, is for Tua to be able to hit him and see him make plays. We need to hit him over the top. We need to hit Waddle over the top, and that is, I think, our best chance to win the game.
So I know we all try to forget the Bengals game, but at the beginning of that game, we saw Tua under a lot of pressure from pretty much the get-go. And I think it's going to be similar in this game, and I think it's going to have to be a lot more of him rolling out like he was at the beginning of that Bengals game before he got injured. It's going to have to be and they did try to get those big plays going pretty much all the time. It was kind of annoying us at the beginning of that game because we were like, why keep going for the big throws like 40 yards downfield? Like, take the 20 yards, take the 15 yards. But I think it's going to be, a lot of rollouts, maybe quick screens, some slants, inner slants. I trust McDaniel to do what he can do. My only really concern is we've seen this time in and time out that he kind of isn't used to game clock managing in the crunch time, the last 2 minutes or so. But he's getting better at it throughout the season. And one thing I am excited to see with Tua, though, is I told you, every time I see him play rusty or have little off throws, the week after he comes in, he's nearly perfect. We saw him be a little bit rusty last week. I fully expect for him to come correct and just absolutely be on his A game.
He's going to need to be perfect, and he's been nearly perfect since returning from injury. That Steelers game, he was rusty, as you mentioned. When he comes back, has that little rust on him. But he hasn't thrown an interception since he's come back. 10 touchdowns. He's looked very, very good. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this year, and he's going to have to be perfect. He's going to have to get the ball into the hands of his playmakers. Give us a score prediction. Miami Dolphins, San Francisco 49ers. These are two of the best teams in the league coming to this matchup. Two good offenses. One defense that's definitely a little better, but what is the score going to be?
So I think it's going to be relatively average scoring because it is, a couple of high-powered offenses. I'm going to go ahead and say 28-24 Fins.
I was actually thinking that, but now that you said it, I'm going to have to move off of that. I'm going to go with 27-23 Dolphins. I don't think it's going to be a blowout one way or another. And we're blessed with two good football games at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we're watching this game, but then again, the Chiefs and the Bengals. So these are two games, four teams these are four teams that all could make it to the Super Bowl. Massive playoff implications for all four of these teams going on here. Let us know down in the comments. First, who do you think is going to win? I wonder how that's going to go. let us know the score down below. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and thank you all very much for tuning in. Miami Dolphins Syndicate. Take care, everybody.